Whether you love the contract or hate it, Spurs fans, let's make the best of it. What is up, San Antonio Spurs fans? Welcome to TSR Sports. And of course, a lot of mixed reactions yesterday in regards to De'Aaron Fox's contract extension. And I thought, you know what? It is what it is. I'm going to make the best of it, and caught an article from Air Alamo making the best of it as well. I know you guys are like, Air Alamo, but I actually like this article and wanted to share it with you. And of course, I'm going to give my 2 cents while doing the article and at the end of the article. Some San Antonio Spurs fans have already been vocal about the long-term price tag attached to De'Aaron Fox after Monday's big news. I'm certainly part of that crowd. 4 years, $229 million is a lot to commit, and the concerns about future roster flexibility are not without merit. We're all looking towards a future maybe a little too far, Spurs fans, with the contract extensions coming up with Wemby, Castle, Harper, Bryant, still got Sochan. It is what it is. Let's focus on the now. When the Spurs pulled off the deadline deal to trade for De'Aaron Fox, they added the one skill set that our Spurs young group desperately needed: a dynamic, downhill guard who can control the game late and run the offense at a high level. He does do all that. Our Spurs have a roster centered around Victor Wembanyama, and with him as that foundation, the need for a reliable lead guard becomes non-negotiable. Okay, that's fair. And here's the big part of the article that I want to focus on Air Alamo. Fox is worth the price tag. We know he's a talented scorer, but he's also a player who knows how to close games and understands what it takes to win. He is a former NBA Clutch Player of the Year, and I believe he just missed a buzzer beater. I think that's what they're alluding to in the article last season. He hit a shot, but the clock had just expired. But when's the last time we've really had a clutch player on the Spurs that we could depend on to take that last shot? DeJounte Murray? DeMar DeRozan? Kawhi? There's some guys there here and there, but the last few years, Keldon, Devin, now we got Wemby, and Fox certainly is not afraid to step up with the clock about to strike zero and take the final shot of the game. He's proved it time and time again, and he'll prove that moving forward for our Spurs. Will his deal complicate future decisions? Maybe, and this is where my concern has been. But if the Spurs plan to be competitive in the Western Conference anytime soon, and I got to think this year, Spurs fans, we have missed the playoffs 6 years in a row. I believe that is the second longest streak in the NBA. I'd like to see that streak end this season. And having a proven point guard like Fox next to Wemby is not a luxury, it's a requirement. And that is exactly how the front office saw it. Trust the process, right? You guys say that a lot. Trust the process, okay? For those questioning the Spurs' decision here, it might help to remember what the alternative would look like, and I think this is a very valid point. Rebuilding without a reliable backcourt leader is a good way to end up stuck, and San Antonio is not interested in that. And as a fan base, we're not interested in being a lottery team again, right? We've had enough of the lottery. This year's lottery with Harper and with Bryant, that should be our last lottery pick, at least from the Spurs themselves. If we get a lottery pick from one of our future trades, so be it, great. But from the Spurs themselves, this should be the last one for a long time. In regards to our point guard situation with De'Aaron Fox, it's been a mess if you look at it the last few years. Look at the point guards we've had since Tony Parker left the team. I wish I could say he retired, but that 1 year, I don't want to talk about it. DeJounte Murray, who in his last season, maybe not a popular opinion, I thought DeJounte was very good last year with the Spurs in 21-22. He averaged 21, 8, and 9, led the NBA in steals per game at 2. He was an all-star that year. Sure, injury, fine, whatever, but he was still an all-star. And he was pretty good, and we thought he was the point guard of the future until he was traded. Okay, who's up next? Tre Jones. I like Tre Jones, and he played good in Chicago, very well actually, as a small spot starter, I think believed due to injuries, but he's likely a backup point guard for his career. A good backup. Great assist-to-turnover ratio. But a backup nonetheless. And he was our starter for what? A year and some change? And then recently, Chris Paul. Hall of Famer. Top 10 point guard of all time. Top 5? I don't know. Let you decide that. But he's past his prime. He absolutely played well, and a shock he played in 82 games at the age of 39 in his 20th season. But he's never going to be the long-term answer. So a one-year rental, if you will. Now, we have De'Aaron Fox. In his prime. He's going into his prime, and I have all expectations that his shooting hand is going to be fine with the surgery. If the Spurs were truly worried about it, they would not have not only not have traded for him because he had the injury at the time, but they certainly, with our medical staff, we got to think they're smart enough to not offer somebody a huge extension if there's any type of injury concern. So I'm not worried about the hand. Talk to the hand. But he's going to be our starting point guard for the next, at least, I would say 4 to 5 years, or maybe more. Who knows? Maybe he finishes year as a Spur, his career as a Spur, and it's Fox and Castle and Harper all on the court at the same time. And Bryant, who the heck knows? We have stability now at point guard, something we haven't had recently. And if we're going to get the best version of Victor Wembanyama, which we haven't seen the best version of Wemby yet, we got rookie Wemby, who will be the worst version of himself until he gets older and things start breaking down, et cetera, et cetera. Had the medical issue, I guess not an injury, medical issue last year, but we saw, I think in December, wasn't that not his best month? We saw MVP level Wemby. Imagine the best version of De'Aaron Fox with the best version of Wemby. That should be scary. That should be really good. I mean, we've talked about this. They barely played together last season. Both dealt with their own medical issues. They're going to have an offseason to work together. This could really be a nightmare for opposing defenses because you got to focus on Victor Wembanyama. He's going to be the guy that defenses are going to plan for first. Fox is a great offensive player, a scoring machine. But how are you going to stop the kaiju out there, the guy that's 7'6", 7'7", that can shoot threes and has moves? He's going to be the number one focal point. We saw it last year. Got double teamed, got triple teamed. I don't think he gets triple teamed with Fox in the court, but he may still get double teamed at times. And Fox, with his speed, might be able to just break down the defense, get in there and get a bucket, get a layup, get a dunk, whatever it may be. Or if he penetrates into the paint, you got the eyes on Wemby, and I got eyes on him, and somebody's going to be open for three, which just means hopefully our three-point shooters are hitting their threes. But I think this offense is going to really cook, and it's going to be a lot of fun to watch. And, it is what it is. He has the contract. I'm all on board. Does the contract size and future cap issue concern me a little bit? Yes, but nothing I can do about it. I'm a Spurs fan, and this is the decision they made. They felt it was the right decision, and I had my overreaction Monday. I'm ready to move on and see what these two can do on the court. The contract's huge, but we know what we're paying with Fox. When we speculate about future cap issues, we haven't seen Sochan ceiling, Castles, Harper's, or we haven't seen Harper Bryant play a real NBA minute. So I'm going to put myself in this group worrying about how we're going to extend our core guys in the future when we don't even know if they're going to be a core guy in the future. Bryant might not be the guy we think he's going to be. Harper may not. And I'm not wishing anything bad on these players, for the record, but the guys that we're hoping work out, they might not be part of the Spurs' future in 4 or 5 years if they don't become the player we think they're going to. We've already seen this happen with Keldon Johnson, Devin Vassell, Brandon Wesley already gone, Joshua Primo, off-court issues notwithstanding, off the team. We've had a lot of guys, Lonnie Walker, just keep dying, DeJounte Murray. We, as a channel community, over the past 6 years, have had a lot of guys come to the team and said, he's going to be a part of our core for the next decade or more. Spur for life. We've all said that about numerous players. And a lot of them are gone. And I personally find myself saying that about some current players, such as Castle, Harper, and Bryant. And we don't know. What we do know is De'Aaron Fox is a top 10 point guard in the NBA. Some of you last night were saying he's ranked 15th or 16th. I'm saying he's a top 10 point guard. Top 5, I don't know, maybe not. Not here to argue that, but Wemmy's got his Robin. Batman's got his Robin. Let's roll it. Let's have a fun season. Let's make the playoffs. Let's get a top 6 seed. Win some playoff games. Maybe get out of the first round. And just have... I'm looking forward to this season. I got my overreaction out yesterday. And I'm ready for this to happen. Of course, it's going to be a few months before it happens. But that's all I got. Spurs fans, none of you have had some time to digest this. Are you feeling better about it? Or are you still looking at it as like TSR? I'm glad we extended him, but I think it's still too much. We're going to have cap issues in the future. Let me know in the comments down below. Hit the thumbs up, like, support the channel, subscribe to become part of our awesome Spurs community. I thank you, and as always, go Spurs, go.
Go Spurs, go.